Hello and welcome back. And we have been talking in this part of the show about NFTs, or to give them their full title, non-fungible tokens, which have made the headlines for all the wrong reasons this week, because a group of investors is suing Sotheby's and multiple others over a 2021 auction and their promotion of Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs. That's after a collapse in prices for those celebrity-endorsed collectibles. And we're going to be getting the thoughts now of someone who is in the NFT art business. Anna Seaman is the co-founder of MORROW Collective, which is an NFT fine art consultancy. Anna, good morning. How are you?
Hi, Jen. Good morning. I'm well. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. I mean, I guess, first of all, I would love to know your thoughts on whether these kind of celebrity endorsements and this sort of slightly bizarre court case are giving NFTs more generally a bad name.
Okay. I think the bad name, to be honest, is almost becoming associated with the word itself, NFT. Look, what happened when NFTs, everybody exploded onto the market, was that everything got put into one bucket. That meant that collectibles like these Bored Ape Yacht Clubs, art, or everything that was tokenized on the blockchain was put into the same bucket. And the problem now is that people didn't really understand like what actually NFT, what the technology brings. So NFT is a digital code which makes a digital file unique. That means it gives it value, which is a game changer in terms of the way things are traded. It offers transparency, it offers provenance in terms of art, and it means that, as your last speaker was talking about sharing and people right-click saving and stealing pieces of digital art, that can't happen because even if everyone in the world has the same picture, there's only one owner. Now, the problem with this court case and the problem that people, as you asked me, are NFTs now having a bad name? They are. People are saying NFTs are dead and all the rest of it, but what they're not really understanding is that the technology behind what makes an NFT, as in blockchain technology, is no way near dead, cannot be dead. It's a game changer in everything. But what is dead is this hype. And the reason that these people went to court is because they bought into a hype, and now that market's crashed, just like any other market. There's peaks and troughs in every market, and investors should know that.
So I guess in a sense what you're saying, if I understand you correctly, is that it's sort of like we've taken a poster for the Barbie movie and put it in the same box as a Renoir and said these are the same thing. Is that correct?
I couldn't put it better myself. In fact, there was a WhatsApp chat going around this morning and somebody said, you can call a horse a potato, but that doesn't mean it's not a horse. And the thing is, not just because it's been tokenized on the blockchain doesn't mean that it's going to have the same value. Value comes from what is actually in that file. So if you're talking about art, we at MORROW, we are a fine art consultancy. So we work with artists who have narrative, who have concept, who've worked for years, just like any other artist, on what they're trying to say. And these apes had value because they gave the owner something else. They were a token. They were like a ticket to a concert. They were a membership to a club. And they also were status symbols, and people were buying them for flex. And the value pumped. And I'm not saying there was no kind of, shady back alley deals. I don't know about that. I'm sure in every market that happens, people will call for regulations. But the UAE is a leader in that field, actually. But the point is that people who buy anything as an investor, you need to do your research beforehand. And if the market crashes, I don't think you can really take someone to court over it, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what I was getting at in the previous interview, was that if I invest my money in the stock market, or if I buy a painting and that artist falls out of favour and the value falls, that's the risk that I've taken in parting with my cash. Is the issue with this court case the fact that people have effectively dived in headfirst into a market that they don't fully understand and then sort of gone, well, hang on, where's my money?
I think that's exactly the issue. And in fact, celebrity endorsement should actually be a signal to leave a market rather than to get into it. Those celebrities have never had anything to do with it before. Celebrities don't come in at the beginning of something. They come in at the peak, and especially, people that have never had anything, Justin Bieber, or who was the other celebrity, they were never in it before. So if you're a savvy investor, see them as a sell signal rather than a buy signal.
So you don't think Paris Hilton's going to be doing a collaboration with some fine art gallery or National Portrait Gallery anytime soon, I guess?
I don't know. I'm not saying. I just don't think that you can blame the people who jumped on board and did so visibly. There's an acronym that's well known in the space, not just NFT. There's another one called DYOR, which is do your own research, and it applies to every asset. The thing that we're not talking about, I think the thing that I'm trying to say as an art curator is that it's the value of what is transacted, and the NFTs enable the transaction of those digital assets in a very transparent way. And in that sense, I think will infiltrate all markets, but in time, I don't think we can turn around and say NFTs are dead just because the market crashed.
So do you envisage a time coming up then where digital and physical fine art will have a similar sort of, I don't want to say value, because obviously value is a very wide term, but almost will be viewed on a similar status to each other in terms of if you own a great piece, it almost doesn't matter if you own the physical or the digital?
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it. That's kind of why we exist. I believe the value of art is subjective, but the value of art comes in the narrative, comes in what the artist is trying to say. I don't think the two things will be I don't think digital will replace physical, because there's nothing like standing in front of a physical painting. But I do believe that they will have equal footing in terms of, like you said, value, in terms of legitimacy, in terms of respect. In fact, Art Dubai, which is the art fair, the annual art fair of Dubai, is one of the first art fairs in the world to introduce a digital section. And yes, okay, one could argue that they were jumping on the back of this boom that we've been talking about, but the fact that it's still here, the fact that we're still here, the fact that we're working with artists, having displays, we're in Toda this weekend, for example, we're displaying art in different ways. Digital art allows people to experience art in a different way, and we live in a digital age. So I believe that, of course, there's a place for digital art that has substance, and a place of physical art. Of course, I'm a huge physical art lover. I would never have that out of the picture.
Now, as someone who is in the industry, I think what we're seeing here is perhaps people jumping in who don't have an understanding. And of course, if you go to a physical gallery to buy a painting, you can see it in front of you. You know what it is that you're investing in. What is the key piece of advice you would give to people who might be considering taking a dive into the digital art space but really don't know where to start? Because it sounds as though at the moment there are fewer guardrails there.
Absolutely. I mean, my advice on buying any piece of art is always buy what you love. But in the digital space, of course, there are so many hundreds of thousands. So I would look for curators. Sorry to do a self-plug again, but that's why we exist, because we bring curation into a market that is flooded with a lot of people who, again, came onto this boom. So I'd look for people who, galleries, curators, people who already know, how to identify substance. And of course, like I said, number one rule, always buy what you love when it comes to art, because you have to live with it.
And probably don't assume that you're investing in something just because there's a celebrity name tagged onto it, I guess. Yeah, I think, the thing is, if you get in early on any new craze and phase, you can make a lot of money. And that's been the case with crypto very publicly. And I think this is the crux of this case, is that it was a huge boom that happened really quickly. People piled in, everyone expected to become a millionaire, and some people were, and those who weren't are now feeling like they got their fingers burnt. And I'm sorry, but I feel like if you buy the hype, sometimes it's just hype. Amazing stuff. Anna Seaman there, the co-founder of MORROW Collective, giving us all a bit more perspective on what is, let's be honest, a fairly bizarre lawsuit around the sale of those Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs. And it sounds as though there is still indeed a bright future ahead for digital art if you do your homework.